Regardless of how you feel about Dragon Ball Super, about its animation, about its actual quality, the quality of the retellings, and all the other aspects of the show, you've got to admit that it has started a lot of really interesting conversations between fans. Like, you do have some of the standard bullshit of, this power level list after Namek is more legitimate than your power level list. But overall, it has spurned a lot of really interesting discussions among the fans. But one topic has kind of overshadowed every other, as far as I'm concerned, especially on places like DBZFUK and Kanzenshu, which are where I frequent most days as eCrollo2. And that topic is, what is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or what is Super Saiyan Blue? So this is a form that was introduced in the very recent Resurrection F film as a sort of next stage of the Super Saiyan God transformation line. And because we have several different versions of the new material coming out in the form of the films, in the form of the Super TV show, and the Super Manga, all of which, while they are telling majoritively the similar storyline, there are several key differences in how events play out, how things are explained, and how things work. So today I'm going to be predominantly dealing with the Dragon Ball Super TV series, which means I'm not going to be taking account into what happens into the manga, and I'm not going to be taking into account what happens in the movie. I will simply be talking about what I think Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is in the Super TV show. The reason I'm doing this is because the manga, like I said, is doing mostly the same thing as the TV show, but with some differences, so I don't really feel comfortable using it to fill in the blanks. And the movies don't really give you any kind of idea just what it is. It's all very vague in the movies. Some would say for the better, because the explanations that Super has been throwing out have kind of confused people. But overall, I'm just going to be sticking to what the TV show did. Now, as it is firmly established with the Super Saiyan God ritual, it is that righteous Saiyans have some form of energy inside them that resembles divine or God ki. This is particularly evident in the TV series and even in the movie, where a blue aura erupts from the Saiyans who are either holding hands in a circle, and the Saiyan who's been picked as the guy who's going to become a god is the one who gets all of this energy poured into him, and then he transforms into a Super Saiyan God. Now, this is very important for everybody to understand, because this establishes the fact that while they're not gods, all the people who participated in the Super Saiyan God ritual do have some form of divine energy, because they are righteous-hearted Saiyans, that their energy, their shreds of divine power are unleashed thanks to the ritual, and they are planted inside Goku, who becomes a Super Saiyan God. And there's further evidence, thanks to Beerus in the TV show, where after Goku, punches Beerus back up into the sky, and he finally seems like he's burned out of power. This happens in episode 14 of Super. Beerus comments that Super Saiyan God is a cobbled-together transformation. It is basically a patchwork transformation created by the power of multiple Saiyans cobbled together that creates a Super Saiyan God, and that Goku was able to absorb this power into himself. Because after Goku reverts back into a regular Super Saiyan, Beerus expects that Goku's power would just be diminished, like he would just be how he regularly was. However, because Goku is kind of a master when it comes to combat, he is able to take the power that he absorbed from everybody else, and he's able to make it his own. He's able to drastically increase his regular power to the level where he can fight Beerus as a mere Super Saiyan. And the evidence that the Saiyans used some kind of hidden reservoir of their own power is further supported by the show, where Goten and Gohan, and basically everybody who participated in the ritual, are so tired that they can't even fly, that they all have to go on to Bulma's machine to fly. And with this in mind, we can plainly see that everybody who participated in the ritual had some form of God energy, which is going to be important for why Vegeta is able to go Super Saiyan Blue without apparently using the God ritual. So, now we bring ourselves to the topic of what is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or what is Super Saiyan Blue. I believe that Super Saiyan Blue is the power of the gods, the divine ki residing in a righteous-hearted Saiyan, fully manifesting instead of a regular Super Saiyan. Now, as it is firmly established Goku already has the God power inside of him after Beerus tells him that once he reverts into a regular Super Saiyan, Beerus still states that the power of Red God is burning inside him like a brilliant flame. It's just that it's not materializing properly as God Ki. This is evidenced by the fact that once Goku reverted back into a regular SSJ, everybody could sense his power, whereas after he turned into a god, no one could sense him. And this is further supported by one of the newer episodes of Super, where Goku, once he turns blue, no one can sense his power anymore, as stated by Krillin. And with this in mind, Super Saiyan Blue is basically a Saiyan drawing out their own latent divine ki inside of their body. As I just finished explaining, we had this with Goku, who already had it by absorbing everybody else's, and then we have Vegeta, who's basically the perfect example of this, because Vegeta went to Whis' planet, and then he spent several months training all on his own under Whis, doing various tasks around the temple, like changing Beerus' pillow and other seemingly medial training exercises. And because of these training exercises, Vegeta is able to attain an absurd level of power to the point where he's able to surpass Goku ever so slightly, which Goku himself admits when they meet up back at Whis' temple. And as we'll see in the upcoming episodes of the Resurrection F arc, Vegeta does have Super Saiyan Blue, even though he never got Red God. And a lot of people are really confused about this. I myself was also really confused about this, getting into kind of debates with people. But as I already established at the very beginning of the video, all the Saiyans in the ritual clearly have one type or some kind of God Ki in them already, and Whis' training is what allowed Vegeta to access this power, his own power inside of himself, and allowed him to master it, to increase it, and bring it out to the forefront. This is why Vegeta is able to turn into a Super Saiyan Blue, even though he never participated in the ritual and he seemingly never got a taste of God Ki. Now, it is very possible that God Ki itself played a role in how Vegeta was able to access this, because he participated in the ritual, as we all know, and he is able to pour out his own hidden reservoir of God Ki into Goku. This experience might have done something for Vegeta, where he grew aware that he had this kind of power, and he started to rely on it more and more and more, and has started to draw it out more and more and more. And so we finally come to the answer that that we're all looking for after this whole big explanation, info dump that I just put on you guys. And that is that Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue, or whatever you want to call it, Blue God, is essentially a Saiyan who has access to a regular Super Saiyan, drawing out his latent God power instead of just turning into a Super Saiyan. It is literally a guy with the power of a god going Super Saiyan, as the name suggests. Now, this is I'm sure you guys are going to give me like a whole bunch of theories about why, this whole idea of mine doesn't work, or why it's contradicted by the manga or the movies, but please remember, I'm just talking about the show here. I'm not taking account in what happens in the movies or in the manga. This is just the evidence that is shown to us by the Dragon Ball Super TV series. This whole theory of mine is not meant to go into the manga or meant to go to the movies. If you think it can be applicable to either of those, that's fine. But I personally just see this as a form of Super Saiyan for a Saiyan who's a god. It's basically that. It's actually kind of really simple once you think about it, and I'm surprised so many people are confused by this, because Beerus does blatantly state what Red God is, and then we have the ritual, which gives us further evidence. So I think that this is kind of a case where the Dragon Ball community might have just needlessly overcomplicated something that's not really as complicated as it's made out to be. And which is fine, because fans, typically in any fandom, not just Dragon Ball, we all kind of jump to conclusions, and then we all create these crazy theories, and then the simplest answer is the one we never really consider because it seems too simple, even though that's kind of Toriyama's shtick. But anyway, that's what I think Super Saiyan Blue is. It's just a Saiyan tapping into his own reservoir of God Ki that he has learned to access via ritual or via training, and then bringing it out as a replacement for his regular Super Saiyan Gold and Super Saiyan transformation. So yeah, guys, hopefully I've managed to clear some things up for you when it comes to this topic. If you have any theories as to what Super Saiyan Blue is or what Red God is, please tell me down in the comments below. If you're wondering why I didn't comment on what I think is stronger, that's kind of not the point of the video, and I don't even know what I would even say if you asked me that question, because Shonen Law clearly states that the newest form is always the stronger one, but then you have Kid Buu who kind of breaks this. So yeah, if you're wondering what I think is stronger, I'm just going to go by Shonen Law and say that that Blue is stronger than Red because it's the newest transformation, and plus Super makes a whole big deal out of Vegeta and Goku training to attain it, which implies that it's probably stronger. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but yeah, the point of my video is not which one is stronger. It's just to give you guys an idea of what I think Blue God is, and how Red God factors into it, and how it doesn't factor into it. And yeah, as I said already, I hope I managed to explain some things for you, clear some things up, and if you have any further questions on the topic, feel free to tell me down in the comments below.